Have you ever asked yourself, what is the purpose of everyone that you keep in your life? Ooh, an anchor. That's anchor deep. Deep question. Okay. I have. A lot more recently. Like with a lot of, your mental health journey, you start to reveal a lot of things about yourself that you didn't know, or like weaknesses or insecurities or whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? So I sit back a lot of times when I'm not communicating like with anybody, and I'm just in my mind, which is a gift and a curse to be in your mind. But I sit back and I ask myself, like, and I'm looking at these individuals, looking at the people that I communicate with. I'm looking at them from an individual standpoint, and I'm asking myself, what is the purpose? Where is the benefit of us being in contact, of us being in communication, of us being in each other's lives? And I find a lot of answers. I know a lot of, for a very long time, that I was keeping people in my life for fear of being alone, for validation, for my own insecurities, for selfish gain, to kind of prove myself, chasing after people, you know what I'm saying? Like to show that, hey, I'm lovable type thing, you know what I'm saying? Because I felt like I wasn't at one point in time. And to come to a point where I can just say, fuck it. Honestly, if an individual, like individuals that walk out of your life, and not trying to prove yourself to them, because there's no reason to prove yourself to anybody. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that, if you're like me, I was caught up in trying to be liked so much. I would go to every length, like more lengths than I would for myself. And that's the sad part, you know what I'm saying? Like, instead of like doing things like to kind of invest in me, I was investing in others so that I could be looked at as, this guy that so many people can rely on. And just because you're able to do it just doesn't mean that you should. You know what I'm saying? So it's learning healthy boundaries kind of helped put me in a position mentally where I know that I don't have to be there for everybody. I don't have to feel guilty about it either. And then there's a lot of people that will come into your life, right? And then they recognize your gift. And when you do someone like a service and you offer advice, and sometimes it's good advice. They deem it as good. They use it as, they find it as beneficial to their life. So a lot of people who are kind of like always looking for people to save them, to come and save them, they'll turn to you. And when you don't have that answer for them, then they get upset. So you find out how people really feel about you when they don't get what they want from you. You know what I mean? And myself included. I've definitely, if I didn't get something from somebody, I was able to just excommunicate them, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And it just shows that, like, that relationship was. You know what I'm saying? But all in all, people are people, and they're going through something that they're bad, and it's nothing to take. Again, like Don Miguel Ruiz says in the Four Agreement, it's nothing to take personal. It's your own inner battle that you're having with yourself. And I would take a lot of things personal. Like when people would walk out of my life, it was like, what's wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with me. I mean, if I was detrimental to their mental health and they had to leave, then I understand that. I respect that. Because I would do the very same fucking thing if that happened to me. But to have people that just know that you're going to be there because you've shown them that you're so reliable, and they come into your life, and then when they get what they want, they leave. pretty much how people treat God. You know what I'm saying? It's like, God, if you just get me out of this, I swear I do right. I swear I go back to church. And as soon as they get that, you know what I'm saying? As soon as they get that, you know what I'm saying? That blessing, fuck these bitches. Man, fuck these bitches. Like Mike Epps said in stand up. But you got to understand that people are opportunists. We all are. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you shouldn't apologize for doing what's best for you. And no one owes you shit. You understand that. Like, the people in your, but what you want to do, to originally answer the question, I know I got off topic like I tend to do, you know, my mind wanders so much, there's so much go through my mind, but like looking at the purpose of everybody, yes, I do, I question even more today, probably like even more after this moment, like anybody that I talk to and asking, what is your purpose in my life? You know what I'm saying? And if there's no beneficial thing for either, you know what I'm saying, at least for me, then I have to ask myself, why do I continue to give you my most precious gift, which is time? You know what I'm saying? Like, we do that. We do that as people. And it's a lot of us do it for ego. We spend a lot of time with a lot of people. We do it for our own egos instead of like out of genuine a genuine want to spend time with people or whatever. But yeah. So to truly answer the question, I've definitely questioned my. You know what I'm saying? I've definitely had questions about. I've questioned myself about people, like what's their purpose in my life, and like why do I keep them in my life? So, yeah, that's a real good question. Why do you feel it's so hard for some families to get along as they get older? Okay, well, if you spend enough time together, you're gonna start getting, tired of each other. I think that's just with anybody. I'm sure if anybody has ever had a roommate, I'm sure you've been pretty pissed off. You hope they go on vacation and shit. You glad when they're at work, but you know what I'm saying? It's just like, foundation is so important, I've learned. And instilling the right, I would say the most effective principles to have as a family, to be able to communicate, to be able to learn how to love each other, you know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of families out there that really didn't know how to love each other, and we loved in a very difficult way. The people that need the most love, Jay Shetty talked about this, the people that need the most love ask for it in the most unloving ways. And that couldn't be further from the truth than, that couldn't be any more truthful than I would say about my own family. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's, I feel like, this is my opinion about my family and answering the question. I feel like we are operating in some form of fear of fear of being accepted, or fear of being loved. Myself, for sure, that fear of of not being loved the way I felt like I should. You know what I'm saying? In a healthy way, not this is just what was taught to me, so I'm doing this to you type thing. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't feel good a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? When you're treated a certain way. But when you have situations like that, it's like, and then I'll take it back. When you grow up in a family that does a lot of unloving things, and we chastise each other, we tear each other down, and then when you go around other people and they treat you like you matter to them and they value you, why would you want to go back to the bullshit? You know what I'm saying? And then at some point in time, you've tried to give opportunities to your family, You know what I'm saying, or opportunity. You did your due diligence in trying to build relationships with, you know what I'm saying, with your family, but people in pain, it's hard to reach sometimes. And you know what I'm saying. So you have to ask yourself, how long are you going to try to continue to beat a dead horse? In a sense, you're not going to make anybody do anything they don't want to do. You can want to build relationships with family. You can want to build a relationship with friends that you had from a long time ago. But if that individual does not want to build that relationship and they're fine with their life the way that it is, then that's something you have to accept, because you're only responsible for your half of the relationship. You can do, you can put your effort into it, but that's it. You're not able to control the other side. So, I mean, you just get to a point where you decide what's more important, your mental health, or feeling like you owe your like people that you grew up with something. And I think that's what happened for me. I think that, I felt like I went off to the military and I left my family behind, and it was like I wouldn't be in this position without them, like putting me in this position to make it this far in my life. So I want to give back and show how much that I love them. But when, obviously when you're raised and you're spoiled and you're used to getting your way, and then you don't get it, it gets hard, and you get very stubborn and you get determined, and you're like, no, I want my life to be this way. But all along, you were just looking at things from your world. See, everybody's got a view. You know what I'm saying? It's like everybody is the director in their own movie. Like in life, like most people think that everything that happens is about them, because that's how we were from childhood. But that's not the case. Nothing anyone does is about your ass. Okay, if it doesn't physically harm you, then everything is on you. Like somebody says something verbally to you, it's up to you to believe what they're saying and internalize that, you know what I mean? And it was a lot of that. So I wanted to bring my family like together, and I just felt like it wasn't happening. So, and because of that, I made everything about me. And it was like, they're not doing it because I'm not good enough or some shit like that. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was just in my head, you know what I'm saying? That's my brother eloquently put on the podcast that we did most recently, which y'all should check out. It's actually pretty dope. You can look at it on iTunes or Anchor. You just look up J.E.T.Sense and it'll come up. Nice little plug right there. But you know what I'm saying? Everything's about growth and being able to control your emotions and understanding that not everything is about you. And that's what I had to learn. And I'm very thankful for a lot of the tools that I've been equipped with, that God has given me and the universe has put in my path, so that I can be better and make understanding of the suffering. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, families. I'll say in short, families. It's hard for families to come together because of past pain and not knowing how to communicate that pain. If you come from a family that doesn't know how to communicate, like when shit goes wrong, and they tend to be very passive aggressive, they don't say anything how they're feeling until somebody pisses them off. That's why they say that, you want the truth. Only people that tell the truth, like people that tend to tell the truth, are children, drunk people, and angry people. So, I mean, all I can say is that you have to want to set aside egos. You want to set aside entitlement, and you want to set aside like this inability to sit down with somebody. Like you have to. If the objective is for us to come together, then you have to separate. You have to remove everything else that comes in the way of that. As far as like if you're trying to build a relationship with anybody, but for this situation, like with family, if the objective is for us to get closer, anything outside of getting closer, you have to remove. So if that ego is going to get in the way, you got to remove that shit. entitlement, if you feel like, you know what I'm saying, like you want to make a point, you got to be right, you got to remove all of that and just work on progress. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I hope that answers the question about the family. I wish that everybody's family, if you wish to build those relationships, you know what I'm saying, with family, that you do that. There's definitely opportunities, not too late. I would say I don't want families just to come together at funerals. I'd rather you, be able to talk out whatever issue it is and not be afraid to talk about feelings and emotions so that you can get to a point where you guys can come together. And I'm speaking to myself with that. So, yeah, all about family. I love my family unconditionally. And, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully we can get ourselves together, all of us, collectively, and anybody else's family that, you know what I'm saying, it might not be where it needs to be right now. So, yeah, family. I love them. Do you find it hard to show your blackness around other cultures? I did. I really did. And this is the reason why. It goes to the beginning. I know for sure, coming up the way I did, that I did a lot of shit that wasn't necessarily good for me. So a lot of times I put that in the same category as it's because I grew up doing this shit, being black. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of things that like certain black communities aren't privy to when it comes to manners and decorum and a lot of shit, and just being educated. So we do a lot of shit just trying to survive. And like I said, being raised on survival versus being raised on love is a whole nother thing. But I got to a point where I went in survival mode, and I had to become a chameleon to survive, and just like not wanting to be accepted. And I didn't have I felt like the people that were supposed to have my back a lot of times with my life at that point in time were not there. So it was like, damn, at that point in time I felt like I was abandoned, and that also attests to my fear of intimacy. But it's like that fear of abandonment, like the people that I would do just about anything for, be it family, be friends, whatever, you know what I'm saying? I just felt like that they weren't around, like to keep me grounded and all that shit. And I was like, well, why would I want to be around people that are not going to have my back in the jam, you know what I'm saying, or make time or prioritize time so that we can do things together. And it really fucked with me for a long time. I was in a lot of pain, feeling like, you know what I'm saying, that folks didn't want to, I felt like I know that no one wanted me around, in a sense. And when you're young and you're spoiled, yeah, you think the world revolves around you. You have these ideas in your mind, and it's really just you versus you. And you weren't incomplete, you weren't broken, you were fine just the way you were. But when it comes to like being, wanting to be loved and all this other stuff, and it's like going off to the military and feeling like your whole support system you left behind back in VA in Virginia, and then to move away and be around other cultures, and it just seems so, I don't know, I was just trying to survive. It's interesting, and acceptance too. People pleasing, those are things that were instilled as a child. So it's like trying to be a chameleon just to make sure that I never was alone. And I got to a point where I was ashamed of a lot of shit that I grew up doing, and that's where I lost. I know that's where I lost myself, and I only have myself to blame for that. You know what I mean? Because there were a lot of things that were considered ignorant, but there's a lot of things that were just a part of my culture. You know what I mean? And like I said, my blackness and shit. So I didn't know, I didn't realize the balance. It really, what happened was it started out with me removing myself from watching BET because I didn't like the way shit was going. So I was like, man, this shit, they're trying to make us look dumb. And that was my big thing. I kept worrying about looking like uneducated around whoever. You know what I mean? That was my big thing because I felt like I wasn't so educated growing up. So it's like trying to avenge all these things from your past. And I got to a point where I was seeing different things and it just didn't seem logical. And like, I understand, like, why the hell do you even do these things this way? And once you learn something, it's hard to unlearn. Like once you learn that something is like not necessarily beneficial for you, it's hard to unpack that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like to remove that notion that you know that this shit is not gonna go well for you. You know what I mean? Like eating like a lot of fried food, like every fucking day. You know what I mean? Like eating fried food every fucking day is not great for your body. Eating a lot of red meat, especially being black, eating a lot of red meat is not good for us, man. I'm not trying to die before 40. You know what I'm saying? I want to live in hopes to seeing, you know, like my grandkids or something someday, and seeing, or my nieces or whatever, and all that. I want to see people like being able to live a full life, but not live a life in fear. So I had to get to a point where I wasn't. I had to face myself, and I created again that ego, that person I created. My social mask was like just this chameleon, but ultimately a lot of parts of it was being ashamed of being who you are, and liking certain things. You know what I'm saying? I was being something to get something, if that makes sense. Like if this girl didn't like me watching cartoons or some shit, I was beta, and I actually made sure that I didn't watch these cartoons. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I lost myself. I was losing myself. All these things that gave enjoyment. You know what I'm saying? Because I was living for other people, and that's where the depression comes in, and your body's like, nigga, that ain't you. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to be yourself, and don't be ashamed of being, you know what I'm saying, black, for sure. That's where your strength lies anyway. But when you're away from your, you know what I'm saying, when you're away from your foundation for so long, or you feel, even since feeling like abandoned by your foundation, then you're gonna try to get into another tribe. That's just natural. That's just how our brains work. And unfortunately, that's what happened for me. I wanted to be accepted versus belonging, and that's where I fucked up. So you gotta be like, this is me, this is who I am, this is how the fuck I talk. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit of country slang sometimes, and then there are times where, you know, I can be very proper, and then there's times where, you know what I'm saying, I talk that talk and stuff like that. So all in all of it's a part of me. But a lot of that shame came from not being feeling like I wasn't loved by my own, and that happens to a lot of us. And a lot of us don't want to speak on shit, but I don't speak on it because I don't give a fuck. This is my story, and that's my story is my strength. So it's like when you have people that you put on pedestals, which you should never fucking do. Never put anybody on a fucking pedestal. Don't care who it is in your life. Don't put your mom on a pedestal. Don't put your dad on a pedestal. Just accept people as people, regardless. You know what I'm saying? Treat every person the same. You know what I'm saying? With respect, with kindness and respect. And you know, once you get to that point, you have to, yeah. When you feel that type of pain where you got shunned, where you almost feel shunned by your own, you want to be a part of something else, and you always want to be part of something that's greater than you. And ultimately, for me, I just wanted to be a part of something loving. I want to be in part of, like, I wanted to have this loving family, and I was just hell bent on getting it because I'm stubborn and determined. But you know, you gotta accept your losses and realize that you were benefited. You know, it's funny. It's almost like the Miss education of the Negro. The book kind of touches on that, like folk like myself that have gone through such pain from their own people that they wanted to like kind of adopt another culture and stuff like that. You feel like you were abandoned, so you left. And then to learn that people are just people, regardless of culture. Not some people treat people better, because they just were taught a different form of love. You know what I mean? But ultimately, you gotta love yourself, and that's what's important, loving yourself. And that's what I had to do. I had to learn how to love myself. And part of loving yourself is loving the fact that I'm black. I'm a black man. And when you're young, you have a lot of fears, and you'll do whatever it takes to escape those fears. If, you know what I'm saying? Especially if it's traumatic. And there was a lot of shit I went through from my own people that left me very traumatic. And I wasn't ready to face that stuff. But life has its way, the universe has its way of like, you're not gonna run from me. I'm gonna show up everywhere. And that's what I had to learn. So, and realizing that I'm okay, I'm not incomplete, I'm not broken. Those people were hurt, and that's why they cause pain. But when you're young, you don't know that shit. So, I did find it hard when, like I say, in my mid 20s and probably early 30s, dealing with that shit, trying to be something I'm not. But this is who I am. I'm a black man, and I like things that the average, well, I don't even say the average. I just like different things. You know what I'm saying? Like you won't be able to put me in a box as a black man. Stereotypes and like prejudices and all that other shit. Like you won't be able to do it. There are some things that I like that are very much in common with a lot of like, I'll say black folk from the hood and shit like that. I still eat ramen. You know what I'm saying? I'll go to the candy lady, ice cream trucks, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Wife beaters and basketball shorts, flip-flops, stuff like that. Whatever you think is, frowned upon, it makes me feel comfortable. So, I love my blackness. You know what I'm saying? I guess I didn't realize that I was hating that part, like that I was trying to remove the ignorant parts of it, but I love my blackness, and I'm gonna stay in that shit. And anybody's got a problem with it, fuck off.